people are familiar with you, you know what I mean? In general, they thinking, you doing these things, different than me, and sometimes they don't want to give you your flowers, you know, off of that. You know what I mean? It's one of the 48 laws of power. I think it's like the art of withdrawing
Yeah,
yourself. You know what I
yeah.
mean? That's a
Make make your
powerful
make yeah, make your presence valuable.
Yeah, most definitely. You got to
Yeah.
sometimes make people miss you a little bit, and and I did that because I'm up in the Northwest now. I'm from the Bay Area. I done been in different places. I came up to the Northwest, and it's definitely been a huge, difference for me and stuff like that. So that's a beautiful thing. I know I was bumping your stuff, man, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm an original. Like I've been getting into a lot of funk music now myself and doing different things. But originally, I'm a hip hop head. You know what I mean? And I'm listening
Mhm.
to your music, man, and you got the hip hop. You got hip hop vibes, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm loving it. I'm going through your videos. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing you rapping off of this shit. You was rapping everywhere. You was jumping out the
Yeah.
airplane rapping. You know what I mean? I'm like, man,
Yeah.
this dude got hip hop vibes. So who inspired you? Like, who are your like some of your hip hop producers or maybe hip hop artists that inspired you?
I mean, growing up, like I really love like the lyrical aspect of rap. I mean, my era that I really started like learning to rap on was like J. Cole, Drake, Eminem, like, Odd Future, all of
Mm,
them, and I felt like I was probably a little young to be rocking with like golden age hip hop, like Biggie and Tupac and all that. Like I listened to them, but I didn't feel like that's what I was learning to rap off of. I felt like I learned to rap from the people that learned to rap from them. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? It was like I was the next generation of that. So like it was like song making and rap more than it was just hip hop. But like
yeah.
my strongest tool has always been my pen. It's always been what I cared about most. Like I would rather, you know what I'm saying, like just like rap on some shit than have a crazy beat and like not say nothing. Like I've always been super locked into what I'm saying. I feel like that's why I like to do this shit in general is because I want to speak my mind. I want to give my point of view. I want to connect with people who think like me, who view the world like me. And if you're not, what I'm saying, paying attention to what you're saying, I feel like you're gonna tap into the wrong audience. So
Yeah, no, most definitely. I feel like for me, I've always liked, uh, odd and different things. I've always liked stuff that was out the box. Like I started with hip hop. My brother's a producer, and he kind of produced mainstream, but I've always liked odd, out the box shit, weird sounds. Beastie Boys. You know. Anybody that was odd and out of the box and stuff like that. Like my son is Halloween, he just dressed up as Humpty Hump and everything like that,
that's fire.
and
Yeah,
because that's kind of like I started off music as Wreck the Rebel, like real hardcore hip hop, and I kind of transformed into like Flamingo Fred. I was out there, so I always like the out of the box, like multiple personality type shit. I don't like everybody was doing in the industry trying to be cool. I want to be odd and everything else like that.
that's what's up. Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that's kind of my inspiration. But I have to admit, like listening to you, I was like, man, this dude really loves hip hop. You know what I mean?
For sure. I appreciate that. It was definitely something that like shout out my parents. I love my parents, but like they didn't show me music. Like my older brother didn't really show me music. It was just something like I fell in love with myself. Just kind of like became like my shit. So it wasn't
Hmm.
like people were playing shit around the house or nothing. It was really just like growing up. There were aspects of just like the culture that really just like drew me in, like hooping, fashion,
Hmm.
music was like it was really just like from a young age what I took a liking to and like just sort of embodied is like I'm gonna get good at this shit and yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. So, how you said your family inspired you with hip hop a lot?
No, I said like they didn't really show me much music.
Oh,
It was
okay.
something, yeah, it was something that I just kind of like had to find on my own. Like I've seen, interviews of countless rappers who are like, my mom or my dad was playing this around the house a lot, and that's like, how I fell in love with it. It wasn't really like that for me. It was more just like just kind of something when I was young. I just really fucked with rap and just stayed in my room and, what I'm saying, worked on it.
Yeah, most definitely. Because, being an artist, and anything you kind of do creative, you know what I mean? From painting pictures to anything you do creative, when you're first starting out on this journey, people think that you're crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or they think that you're wasting your time. You think that you're crazy. And then, you start making moves. You move to LA, you start doing shit. They see you different places. And then they're like, oh, I've always had this dude's back, this, and that. And I see you, boy. I see you moving and grooving. So that's
Yeah.
part of the journey.
No doubt. I've never been the type to like to shout out the haters or be like, this is for all the people who didn't believe in me. I'm on the other end of the spectrum where it's like, shout out to all the people that did believe in me, that held me down. That's always been the type of motivation I rock with, to be honest. And like, even when I see people hit me now that I knew were hating on me in high school that are like, yo, I always knew you would make it type shit. I don't have much animosity for it because it's like, I don't even know if I believed it back then. I definitely acted like I did, but like, I don't even know if I would have been like, this kid gonna do it until like maybe like 2, 3 years ago when I was like, really took this shit way more serious and was like, yo, I could do
Yeah,
this for real, for real. So it's like, nobody owed me nothing. And like, obviously, I use the hate as motivation, but I've never been the type to be like, man, this is for all the people who doubted me. Like, I don't focus on that. It's way more like, shout out to everyone that helped me get here, bro. Like, this took an army, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah.
all those people are way more important to me than the people who weren't fucking with us.
Okay, most definitely. You been on tour before?
Just small stuff, you know, like when I was in the DMV when shows would come through. Shout out to homie Henny, who's up at EQT now. He used to book
Mm-hmm.
me for like gigs and shit just around the area. And then I played some shows out here, but no, I never been on like a full length tour.
Okay. So I just asked that. So what's the craziest shit you've seen happen at a show or being out performing or involved in music? Like what's the like I try to be out of the box with this. Like I'm not trying to 21
Yeah, yeah,
questions.
yeah.
We want to get that real scoop shit. Like what's some crazy shit you've seen happen at a show? Because that's where all the crazy shit happens. I done seen some shit too.
No doubt. Just off the top of my head, something that I will always remember was I was at a show when I was younger, and it was like a co-headlining thing. And one of the co-headliners, the first person in the venue was this like random person in a mask. He was just like wearing like a costume pretty much. And he
Mm-hmm.
was acting mad weird in the crowd for like 2 or 3 hours while all the openers played and everything happened. And then the headliners, like whole squad comes out and they acting like they don't know where he is. They're like, yo, anybody know where he's at? Blah blah. And dude takes off his mask and hop out the crowd onto the stage and start going dumb. And it was like, yo, that was tough. Like, bro committed 3 hours before the show just for this one moment. And like I'll never forget that. I was like, that was fire as fuck. Like,
Hey, that's dope. Cause I mean, simple shit like that is like you got to be a performer. Like this is what kind of said before. Like for me, I want to entertain. Like of course I'm make music. I want to entertain and do some shit. Like I want to have something that makes you feel some type of way or you remember. Now there's some people that are like. I mean, there's like a Nas. Nas is so fucking lyrically gifted that he's Nas. I mean, everybody's not Nas. I'm not Nas. I never wanted to be, but that entertainment factor and doing whatever. I mean, that's been since the start of man, caveman telling stories. The
yeah.
entertainment factor with that. Shows get crazy. I mean, I remember I haven't been on tour either, but one time my brother, who's a producer, his name is Checkin' Traps, Grammy nominated and shit like that, Lupe Fiasco record or whatever. But one time there was a tour, I think Chevy Woods out of Wiz Khalifa's camp was leading the
Mm-hmm.
tour. And this is like my first time on like any type of tour ever. This was some years ago. And I'm not no big act on the tour. I'm kind of like following along. My brother is performing along with Shortstop, out of LA. They're performing and I'm like just on tour tagging along. And at first I was super excited, but then it got to like we're at the sixth or seventh city and I'm like, this shit sucks. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
this shit sucks. We driving from here to there. We at a hotel. I'm bunked up with everybody. We changing clothes. This, and that. I'm like, man, I got to get to where I'm leading one of these tours because this shit is whack.
Yeah, that's the grind. That's definitely the grind.
Yeah, it most definitely takes that. If you could work with somebody right now, um, If you could work with somebody right now, who would you want to work with?
Dead or alive, or they gotta be living, or what?
Let's go living because we'll go dead after, but let's go living because we gonna
Okay,
manifest it right now because I want to see you working with this motherfucker.
no doubt. I appreciate that, bro. As far as producers go, I would love to work with Kenny Beats. I'd love to work with Alchemist.
Mm,
Um, as far as artists go, there's a long list of people I fuck with. I think J. Cole and I would make some crazy records.
mm,
Um, I love West Side Boogie. I think his music is super fire. I think we complement each other well. I think Harlow and I would make a banger together. Um, I really, really fuck with Dominic Fike's music too. Not super hip hop. He, you know what I'm
hmm
saying, a little more on the indie rock tip, but he do rap in his songs all the time. And I think it's super fly to like do something different, like you were talking about, and rap on instruments with
Yeah.
like guitars and you know what I'm saying, more live shit. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously I'd love to do songs with like Drake, Tyler, all those like top class people, but I really listen to a lot of like I don't want to like disrespect them. I don't know what to call it. Like a tier under that of rappers is like really who I get a lot of my just like inspiration from when it comes to like barring out like Griselda and like I said, West Side Boogie, Ransom.
hmm
I fuck with like Rex Life Raj really heavy. I like Black a lot. Just like there's this whole just wave of dudes that I really do feel like are doing their thing with the pen and sonically, where it's like it's not unpleasant to listen to, but they're also talking their shit and like saying a lot in all their songs.
Yeah, most definitely. I love the Alchemist because I produce records and shit too, and I've been putting in fucking work on this MPC. It's one of my guilty pleasures. Even if I'm stepping in other genres, I can't produce funk like that because a lot of this funk is live instruments and different shit like that. I do make a different kind of version, but the Alchemist, man, he's a bad man, man. I listened to that Larry June project he had come out because Larry June's from the Bay Area and
Uh,
different shit like that. But I love it's kind of like I'm kind of a nerd. I think the hip hop goes with that, and like different parts of hip hop brought that in. People don't think that, but I am got some nerd to me. Like the Beastie Boys, it was like kind of sci-fi, and they take all these samples on the records like MF Doom and the comic book shit, and it's more than just rapping. The rap can go outside of reality. You know what I mean? You could tell stories and make whatever universe you want in the rap. And I feel like a lot of mainstream people don't do that. I know there's some
yeah,
underground people that do that in different genres, but it's about entertainment. I like shit like that. If you want to take on an alter ego as an anti-hero and rap, like I'm down. You know,
no doubt, yeah, for
like
sure. I think what's
that shit is
so
cool.
so dope about Al is like there's other producers that have like had the same tenor as him, like they've been around for whatever many years, but like he from then till now, like you still come to Al for the same sound. It's just like that's his shit as opposed to I feel like other producers have been able to like adapt their sound and style consistently to like what's hot. It's just like Al making Al beats always, and like there's always going to be a space for that kind of hip hop, the stripped down sampled instrumental with some crazy drums on it. That's leaving space for someone to rap. You know what I'm saying? And like I think that's fucking dope and beautiful that he's just like all these years in and still like on some of the flyest shit that I hear dropping, and it's all the same. Like he never had to get out of his bag. He never had to like reinvent himself or his sound. It's just like dope.
No, that's dope. And you made a good like great minds think alike. You made a valid point because I was talking to my homie a lot verse, and like a lot of these newer age beats on these trap beats, like a lot of them are very, you know what I mean? They're good, they sound good, you know what I mean? But they don't really give you much room to play around on the track. You made a good point. These other, like these Alchemist tracks and these hip hop tracks, they give you space. And if you know about music and dropping them
Yep,
lyrics and playing around with the rhyme scheme, you need space in there to do that. And a lot of
for
these
sure.
hi hats and all that on the trap, it gives you no room to kind of play around with the rhyme scheme.
For sure. I mean, you're at the end of the day, like your vocal or whoever's cutting the vocal is like that's the final instrument that you're adding to the track. So it's like if you already filled up all the pockets with other instruments, you only leaving so much space for the person. And like when people are always got something to say about like I fuck with every kind of rap. Like I be turned up to trap shit all the time. I just don't make it. But like when people are like, man, all their flows are the same or all their pockets are the same, it's like at some point that's the pocket that that music is in. You know what I'm saying? Like these beats are
Mhm.
leaving them that pocket, and that's like how you float on that kind of beat. It's just like that's what the space is allowing you to do, and like that shit's gonna be tough always. So it's like I'm never hating on that, but I do prefer to like to rap to shit that has space. Sometimes I'll just write to like a simple loop just so I can find all the pockets I want before we're adding drums and all that kind of shit.
No, most definitely. Like I've been, when you're first starting out with music, like, I'm not Drake or nobody. I'm an underground artist and, maybe one day I'll climb higher and I'm doing different stuff and things like that. But the thing for me is when I first started making music with my partner Verse Born, he brought me to the studio and he let me do whatever I wanted to do in the studio and stuff like that. And I was just trying to be a rapper. I was just trying to sound like whoever. I was just trying to make it as a rapper. I was just trying to say I could rap and be good at it. And that, as I kind of grown as an artist, I'm like, I know I could rap. I know I could make a song or do whatever else. Now I want to play around. Now my shit, I don't care about it being perfect. I like, let's kind of make it sloppy. Let's write to a loop. Let's make some weird noises. Like I've been listening to a lot of Parliament Funkadelic and George Clinton lately. Like I've
Yeah.
been bumping that shit. I've been bumping that. Like I haven't even been bumping a lot of rap. I've been bumping that shit lately. So that's just how I look at music. You know what I mean? And doing that but to each their own. I like to experiment and find different artists. And, that's why we was digging you and like, man, let's talk to dude and get him on and stuff like that. What do you
Oh
think
yeah,
about
bro.
the current state of music right now? Like I know somebody that's big, and this might be a side note. Like you said, you from like almost from you from North Virginia, which is close to Baltimore. Krayshawn and Blueface. I think Krayshawn is from Baltimore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
she
like, what do you
is.
think? Like, what do you think about the current state of music? Because I think I look at music now as like it's kind of like the WWE. Like, yeah, you can make songs, you can make dope stuff, but you got to have some mankind, rock, the rock type theatrics going on with your shit to go climb higher and higher.
Yeah. I don't know, and I have this discussion with my homies all the time. You know, we sit down and we talk about the vision and the plan and what we need to change and stuff all the time. And maybe it's stubbornness as an artist, but I'll always stand pretty firm in like the superstars that I would like to model my career after and that have longevity and that have a fan base. It wasn't about the theatrics. It wasn't about the WWE shit. It was about them being dope and them making good shit and then branding themselves correctly and then being consistent. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot easier to have a moment if you're going on some like crazy shit and trying to be viral. Like you could create a moment for yourself, but
Hmm.
I don't know if that's gonna like translate to longevity and actual fandom and like people buying tickets to your shows and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if that's I do know that's not the route I've ever tried to take. I definitely want to
Hmm.
make like visually stimulating stuff and content that like makes you be like, oh, that was fire or whatever. But I'm not out here trying to do some WrestleMania shit to get my song to pop. You know what I'm saying? And like I've struggled with that a bit in this TikTok era because every fucking label meeting I'm in and shit is like, you gotta go viral, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yo, my shit gonna go viral because it's raw. Like you gonna see one of my freestyle videos or something, and you're gonna be like, "This is crazy." It's not gonna be because I like did some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to go viral for my talent. I want to go viral for the things that I can consistently do every day, which is like rap my ass off.
No, and that's dope. And I like, don't get me wrong, I definitely, even though we check out what's going on, I definitely don't like the drama aspect of it. But I feel like if you look at different generations, I mean, they were lighting guitars on fire and shit
Yeah,
and
yeah,
doing
yeah,
different biting bats' heads off and doing different things with performance. Now, for me, I'm a person that's I'm very much into film, so that kind of was make me started making content. I've been in like short films and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I would just be trying to go viral and do some bullshit, but I definitely like act acting and you know what I mean, doing different like theatricals type stuff, I would say. But you know, that's one of those things. It's like to each their own. But just having some drama, and I think that's like, what is your career going to be remembered for? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
some BS scandal. Like all artists want to be remembered for their contribution and their talent that they brought, and
Yeah.
that's not talent. You know what I mean? At all.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And part of me is like, I do want this shit so bad that like to some extent I'm willing to do whatever to get the opportunity because I believe in like my talent after that point. You know what I'm saying? Like if I
Hmm.
created a viral moment for myself, I do believe in myself enough where it's like I think I could create longevity out of that because I do have a really good back catalog. I have a ton of music coming out. I could rap every day on camera if people wanted to see that, you know what I'm saying? So I like I said, I've gone back and forth a million times with my various teams and stuff throughout the years about like being a little too stubborn about the way I approach making content. So
Hmm.
I I have been trying to do more like ideas with like skits and stuff to show my personality and funny stuff and not just the bars. But but yeah, I feel you. The desire for an artist to be known for their talent and work is like that's definitely what keep me up at night, you know.
I feel like you could do it. I mean, you know, you got to do it how you want to. But like I said, this shit now is, it doesn't mean you have to make a fool of yourself, but it is entertainment. I mean, it's Halloween. You might have a Halloween costume in your skit or whatever, and it might be something that you're interested in. I mean, the thing with this internet now, there's so many different people and groups of people that are into different things. I mean, you said this earlier, but like, look at Odd Future. Like,
Yeah.
remember when they came out? Like, they had like this psychedelic, like this weird, like I can't even explain what their style was. This psychedelic, like weird, like offbeat style. And I feel like if they would have came out right now with that, you know, because this was a little bit before everything was so TikTok and stuff like that. Like they probably would have even been even bigger and maybe stuck together long as a collective instead of just Tyler. Then there's Earl, you know, and stuff like that. Because they
Hmm.
seem like those just like group of kids that was just hanging out doing dumb shit. Like that was just them, you know.
Yeah. I feel like that was the beauty in Odd Future for real, was that was the first like sort of like documented new wave of rap group and like these kind of kids that like I think their influence is super heavy and still the way like kids are approaching shit, just like that like carefree goofiness, like you know what I'm saying? Just I fuck with Odd Future heavy. I think there was so much genius in that group. I mean, just the top Frank, Earl, Tyler speaks for itself, but there's endless people in that are still killing shit.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And there's an artist I've been peeping out recently that I was hanging out with these chicks one time, and they had like put him on. His name is Freddie Dredd, and
Okay.
he was kind of coming out, and then you know he had a couple numbers and stuff like that, but now he kind of blew up even more on like an underground level. And he has like this weird claymation type horrorcore type Memphis funk or whatever type style they was calling it. And I mean, I've been kind of like really enjoying that. So I mean, it's just all about the entertainment factor. What new projects you got coming out? What are you working on now?
So I have at least a song a month dropping through the next, I'll say 6 months of next year. Um, I've always tended to work in projects. Like I do prefer to work in like bodies of work, but I've sort of come to learn that I think that's something you earn. Like you got to earn the listener's ears. You know what I'm saying? I think I have a couple bodies of work that there's a lot of songs on there I think are super underappreciated because I put out like this long body of work that didn't get a full listen, and I should have done it single by single to make sure each song was getting like the ears it deserved. So I'm trying to do that. I do have a bunch of sort of like little EPs and stuff I'm working on with various people. My homie Otis and I have the Heartbreak tapes coming out in February, which is just kind of
Mm.
like um, it's like our version of love songs or like anti-love songs, you know what I'm saying? Super smooth, like minimal songs. I'm fucking with all those. I have another project with my homie Pilot that's coming out that's like a little more up tempo bops, like a little more pop rap. I have a ton of music coming out for real, bro. I spent a lot of time like stacking music and feeling like I needed to wait for an opportunity to present itself for these songs to like live their full lives and you know what I'm saying, get the push they deserved. And at a certain point, I just had a conversation with myself where it was like, bro, if you don't drop, I don't know what you expect to happen. And so I totally flipped it and was just like, I'm gonna drop as much as I can afford to drop over and over and over and over until one of these motherfuckers takes notice.
Nah, most definitely, because you know how that shit is, man. If all that music starts stacking up on that computer and, got a new computer or whatever happens, and that music starts stacking and you start guessing it and second guessing and second guessing. And I mean, sometimes you just got to drop that shit. And when you do blow, you know what I mean? Because this the Bird of Paradise podcast, I'm putting that good juju on everybody.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
man, you gonna blow, man, and we gonna look back at this shit and run into each other again. But what I think is once you do blow, people are going to go back and look at, the heartbreak tapes and this, and that, and all this other stuff that you dropped, whatever go. And they're like, bro, like, this shit that he dropped right here is dope, but did you go listen to this shit way back when? This
Facts.
motherfucker is a genius. You know what I mean? And that's what we do this shit for. And I think that will happen to you because I listened to your shit. You definitely got bars and lyrics, and you doing it. So man, just drop that shit, even if it's a track a week or however you want to do it, man. Get that shit out.
No doubt. And I feel like my fault. I'm trying to make sure this shit don't log me out because I got to sign in.
Nah, you
Um,
good, man.
but I feel like there's that, there's just this, it's like a building energy too as I consistently drop stuff where I don't even give a fuck about the numbers or nothing. It's just more like there's no better feeling to me than like getting your shit out to the world like that. Like when a song finally drops, it's just like finally, like it's no longer even mine to judge. Like this is y'all got it now. You know what I'm saying? Do what you will with it, but like it's out of my hands. And to have like all these like songs I've been working on for so long that I've had so much like confidence in or like that have helped me through a time or provided me with certain vibes to be able to share stuff is just like that's the whole reason I do this. So that's been the most rewarding part of the process. And it's like continuously like building my creativity and my inspiration as I drop stuff. It makes me want to drop more stuff. And it just like I'm sort of just ironing out my whole rollout process and like trying to make it this smooth machine of like I cut a record I like, boom, video, mix, mastered, it's out the door. Another one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah, most definitely, man. You're gonna get there, man. And I look forward to looking into some more of your shit. You know what I mean? Shout out to
hell yeah.
Folded Waffle Blog for sponsoring the podcast and connecting us together, man. And I'm gonna be looking for more of your shit dropping. And we're gonna get together with the blog and help push this to different fan bases and different people out there that we're tapped in with. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And I'll be looking at your shit too, man, and hope to tap in with you in the future, man. You know.
Hell yeah,
So,
bro.
any last words and things you want to say to the people?
Shit, yo, thank y'all for having me. This has been super dope, fly ass conversation. Follow me at Garrett Zoukis, GarrettZoukis. Like I said, I got tons of new music coming out, freestyles. I'm about to drop a video on Friday. That's the craziest video I ever done for sure. So yeah, man, it's up from here, and I really appreciate you tapping in early, bro.
No doubt, man. Shout out to the guy, Garrett Zoukis. It's your guy, Flamingo Fred, man. We appreciate y'all tapping in. I'm going to catch you later, my guy. Till next time.
All right, bro. Big love. Thank you, dog.
Peace.
Peace.